We're here at Hallock State Park Preserve for the Young Birders Club.
Like a barn swallow. Where will a barn swallow make a nest?
Like
in a barn. Where will a cliff swallow make a nest? In a cliff, a bank. Is also kind of like a bluff. We have bank swallows here in the summer. Nesting. And then you have tree swallows, which is what we're going to be looking for. Where do they nest? In trees. Yep, they'll nest in dead tree snags, like an old woodpecker hole, or actually in some of these bluebird boxes. They'll nest in some of the bluebird boxes that we have out. And they migrate by the thousands. Right here, I watched 10,000 in a day just fly right overhead. 50 birds in just 1 minute. And that was just a steady, constant stream. Sometimes you'll see almost 3,000 swarming in one spot, and it happens right here on Long Island. How many of you may have seen them? Thousands of birds. They have a white belly. And that's how you can tell them from different swallows. They have a white, very distinctive white belly. So we'll be looking for that particular swallow today. Also, a few key sparrows we're going to be looking for. Sparrows are just small, brown birds, but they can be really hard to identify, but they might have something about them that stands out. Like, what do you think a white-throated sparrow, what do you think you might be looking for?
a sparrow with a white throat?
Yep. So we'll talk about bird names too, how they came up with their names. But we'll be looking for some common birds and not so common birds. The ravens that you just saw, that's not a common sighting. They're just increasing on Long Island. They weren't here a decade ago. So that's an exciting sighting. Before you do anything, make sure your binoculars are set to the right width for your eyes, right? So if your eyes are wide set, you have them further apart. If your eyes are narrow set, they should be close together, because you should be able to see one image through the binoculars. Now, what I want you to do is practice. See this yellow sign here? I want you to just practice and use the focal adjustment right here. Use that until the wildlife preserve sign comes into view. And if you're having trouble finding it, what you don't want to do is look around with the binoculars. It's really hard to find objects. So if you're not sure how to use the binoculars, you're going to look at an object like that yellow sign and just place the binoculars to your eyes. And it should be right in view. Do you mind sharing? Is that okay? Wild turkey. What else, Hannah? Deer. Deer, white-tailed deer. Yes. Any other mammal? Rabbits. Rabbits. Maybe if it warms up.
Maybe groundhog.
Maybe a groundhog. Just like you guys, you might have been a little chilly this morning and you didn't want to get out of bed. Some of the birds and the mammals are going to be slow to wake up, but this is perfect timing. The day is just starting to warm. The birds should be active. We may or may not, depending on the temperature, we might even see a garter snake that is basking in the sun, or maybe even a box turtle. So we'll keep an eye out for other wildlife besides the birds. Yes. Oh, I didn't introduce. I'm sorry. This is Teresa from North Fork Audubon. She's tagging along. She's trying to find out what Young Birders Club's all about. They eat acorns this time of year. They eat insects. You know what they're great at eating? Ticks. So now you're gonna have to use your binoculars and focus far away. And what is a male turkey called? A tom. When you're birding, you're looking at the treetops, and there are some birds that just hang out and feed in the treetops. But where can some other birds be found? Right on the ground. And a lot of the sparrows will be feeding right on the ground or in this kind of shrubbery right here. And then you have migrating warblers, beautiful, beautiful warblers. They're very dull in the fall, and they're really difficult to identify. But in the spring, during their breeding plumage, they become very colorful. There's me. You have raccoons. There's deer. I'll try to look for more. This park is great for tracking, and we do workshops in tracking in the sand, in the sandy strips. You might want to look for turkey tracks, deer tracks, rabbit tracks, squirrel, fox. What am I missing? Okay, hear birds. So we're going to stop and listen for a moment. There's 4 woodpeckers that you're going to find in this park. We're going to try to find all 4. The downy woodpecker, the hairy woodpecker looks just like it but it's larger, the red-bellied woodpecker, and the northern flicker, or the yellow-shafted flicker. Beautiful bird. Its feathers are all yellow. If you have a good look at it, you'll see the flash of yellow when it's flying. Does anyone know what bird that just called? I know Jacob started talking about this. Jacob, why did you say animals migrate?
I didn't say why they migrated,
okay.
because not all animals migrate for the same reason.
Right. What could be a reason why?
But usually it's to get to a warmer place for winter.
Either for warmth, okay, for winter. Yep. Food supply. If you're an insect eater, if you're a bird that eats exclusively insects, are you going to find much food in the winter? No, we have an accipiter flying through. That's either a sharp-shinned hawk or a Cooper's hawk. Hi, how you doing?
Hi, how you doing?
Good, thanks. You see it right up above those trees? That is a bird-eating bird of prey. And if you heard, the blue jays are doing an alarm call. And you can actually, if you hear an alarm call from a blue jay, you might want to look up and check for an accipiter, which is a bird-eating bird of prey. And that could be a sharp-shinned hawk, a Cooper's hawk, or maybe in the wintertime a goshawk, which is our largest accipiter in North America. Back under the wings when it's flying?
Yeah.
It may have been a red-tailed hawk.
This one's really white belly though. Like I didn't see any markings.
Okay.
We thought maybe snowy owl, but no binoculars today. So.
Oh, okay. Where was that, in the field over there?
When we first went to the beach. That
Oh,
way,
okay.
coming down.
Going down the beach?
Yeah.
We'll keep an eye.
I don't know if they're here. Just throw it out there.
So do that. They'll hang out in that hedgerow that you drove up, and as a car flushes birds, they'll actually are pretty opportunistic, and they'll go after birds that have been flushed away. So this to me looked like a Cooper's hawk, a male Cooper's hawk. Based on its head was forward of its wings. A sharp-shinned hawk is going to look like its head is sunk in more. So it's tough, but you start to pick up skills as you go. Maybe right where it starts to bend to the right, there's a small bird clinging to the bark, to the trunk of the tree. So you're going to look at the bird, bring your binoculars to your eyes, and try to focus in and tell me what you see. Bless you. It is, okay, so it's the one that's covered. So you know it's little area there.
That was my first time seeing that kind of bird.
That kind of bird?
Very closely, but it's actually very far away of it.
Can you able to spot it through your binoculars? So it's called a sapsucker because it drills holes in trees and the sap runs. And it not only does it drink the sap, it eats the insects that are attracted to that sweet, sticky sap. Yes. We're following the path of that accipiter, that super hawk. They're going to make all the birds disappear. All the birds are going to go hiding. They won't call, they won't move, and it's going to be really tough to see them. So, because the accipiter, the Cooper's hawk is a bird-eating bird of prey. So that means that any bird that they can capture is going to be food for that hawk.
What was the name of was it the Yellow-Bellied Sapsucker that was it called?
Yellow-Bellied Sapsucker, yep. So actually, that's pretty neat. It's all bright red. What do the females and the young look like? Brown. Yeah, so that was a male cardinal. So we'll keep an ear out. Try to develop, you're gonna, just as you catalog what birds look like in your mind's eye, you also want to pay attention to bird sounds because you can identify birds by the sound alone.